Hello there.
General Kenobi!
You are listening to Mando Talk, your home for the Mandalorian chapter breakdowns, speculation, and all kinds of Star Wars fun. Welcome back, all of you Ugnaughts and Jawas, to another episode of Mando Talk. I am your host, Caleb Keller, and joining me this week in studio is my brother, Jacob Keller. What is up?
Hello. What's going on?
Hello there. Nothing much. Nothing's going on really in my world except I'm excited to talk Star Wars this week.
Me too.
Cool news pieces, cool things going on in Star Wars, so we're going to get to those.
I haven't been here in a while, have I?
Exactly. That's what I was going to do. I mean, it's been a while, so just real quick, what's up? What's up with your life? How you doing? And it's good to have you back.
Well, just working, just keep on going with school.
Yeah.
Trying to get, oh boy, Farmer Jake he's getting busy.
The farmer, Jacob, is back.
He's getting busy. Spring is here, even though we have a cold snap here in Tennessee right now. So the high today is in the 40s, but despite that, things are still growing. There's still so many things that could be sown and growing right now.
Uh-huh.
And I'm just relishing in it.
Old Jacob living the Galen Urso life.
Yep.
The farmer here in our local state of Tennessee. Well, we appreciate you being here, man. I can't wait to dive into these news pieces. Those of you listening, we're glad you're here for another week. As always, let me get our plugs in real quickly before we get going, just because when we get going, man, we just dive straight into it, and I just kind of lose myself. So let's just get these plugs out. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, we're on all those social media platforms at Mando Talk. Make sure you follow us. It's always fun communicating with you. Our podcast, you can find us on Apple, Spotify, Google, wherever you listen to your podcast, we're there, but we are also on YouTube. Our YouTube channel is great. We're growing. It's always fun to communicate with those of you out there on YouTube. So make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. Smash the bell. That way you're notified as soon as a video is uploaded. And hit the like button on whatever video you're currently watching. Hopefully this one, obviously, so you can show us some love. Again, we always put Mando mini talks out throughout the week for those of you that can't sit down and watch or listen to the entire 30 to 40 to maybe even an hour-long podcast episode. We break the podcast episode into little chunks that are easy for you to digest throughout the week. So check that out if you have not done so, and we really appreciate it. We always appreciate the support. Now, oh boy, it was a great week this past week. We got two news pieces that we're really going to dive into specifically. And man, the internet went crazy when Star Wars officially announced the Obi Wan Kenobi Disney Plus series, their cast.
Yeah.
It was announced. Now, with this announcement, they also gave like a quick little synopsis. So I'm going to read that synopsis just to set up this idea whenever we look at the cast list. So the synopsis, it says, the story begins 10 years after the dramatic events of Star Wars Revenge of the Sith, where Kenobi faced his greatest defeat, the downfall and corruption of his best friend and Jedi apprentice, Anakin Skywalker, turned evil Sith Lord Darth Vader. Obi Wan Kenobi is directed by Deborah Chow, director of 2 critically acclaimed episodes of The Mandalorian Season 1. The series also marks the return of Hayden Christensen in the role of Darth Vader.
So, you love doing that.
I do. It's one of the best lines from the prequels, man.
Yeah, it is. That whole sequence is so great.
Well, it's at least great to reenact.
Vader.
Exactly. That was spot on. 100% is spot on. But yeah, first of all, 10 years after, I didn't know that number going into it. That's good to know, though. That means little Luke and Leia are 10 years old.
Yeah.
So it's very possible to definitely see Luke pop up. Maybe Leia through some force, I don't know, some force ability where they connect and they just don't know what's going on, those little kids.
Maybe.
But it's a possibility. Them being 10 years old, I would say they're definitely coming to the realization that they have this feeling inside them somehow. They just don't know what it is. So we'll see. They might be incorporated somehow, but we're going to get to that in a second.
How old would that make Obi-Wan?
Man, I'm not good at these year things, man. This is like the third week in a row where I've been tested on like age of these individuals.
Maybe like late 40s or 50.
I think so. Somewhere around there, that would make sense. I mean, Obi-Wan, by the time A New Hope comes around, is very well aged.
Yeah.
Well, at least he looks well aged. It might just be living on the desert, you know.
Yeah.
It's hard on you, so he might look 20 years older than what he actually is.
Well, another 10 years would be 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
That would make Luke 20, which I don't know.
Right. Well, so there's 18 years in between.
Okay.
So I believe Luke is 18 when A New Hope comes around. So we're pretty close. We're basically at the halfway point in between the Galactic Empire being created and the Civil War that's coming down the line.
Yeah.
So we're really close. We're right there in that middle point. But any other takeaways from that synopsis before we dive into the cast list?
Oh, it's just great. It's just awesome to see Hayden Christensen come back.
And they really like double down on Anakin Skywalker, Darth Vader, Hayden Christensen, Darth Vader. Like all of that was mentioned. Anakin, we got twice. No, sorry. Anakin once, Darth Vader twice, Hayden Christensen dropped once. So they're definitely focused in on that character, that actor coming back in. Exciting. Very exciting.
We love it. We love having him back in Star Wars again.
Oh, 1,000%. And okay, and I've at least talked about this before. Attack of the Clones, I'll admit, Hayden Christensen, for some reason, the acting for me just wasn't there. But Revenge of the Sith, still, there were some moments where it was kind of a little cringy, but I still enjoyed it overall. And I've always wanted to see Hayden Christensen come back. I always wanted to see Hayden Christensen in the sequels, and it never came to fruition. Yeah. So we're finally getting that here in the Kenobi show, which makes me very excited.
Absolutely.
So let's get into this cast list, but as we transition into that, Hayden Christensen for me is still the most exciting of the list. I mean, obviously outside of Ewan McGregor.
Right.
I mean, that's Obi Wan Kenobi. We knew that was going to happen.
Yeah.
But Hayden Christensen still checks off the excitement level for me.
Yeah.
For everyone, compared to everyone else. But let's dive into the list. Ewan McGregor, obviously, Obi Wan Kenobi. Hayden Christensen, Moses Ingram, Joel Edgerton, Bonnie Peace. And again, so those of you out there, you know I'm not best at naming names, but anyway, hopefully I do the best that I can. Kumail Nanjiani, Indira Varma, Rupert Friend, O'Shea Jackson Jr., Sung Kang, Simone Kessel, and Benny Safdie. Hopefully I did those justice. Now, we already know enough about Ewan McGregor and Hayden Christensen. We don't really need to mention anything else with those two. But Moses Ingram. So on Instagram, the day of the announcement, she made a post that stated the following: I play with lightsabers. And then Variety, a very reliable news outlet for entertainment, states that she's going to play a major role. So a lot of people out there were speculating as soon as she posted that post that said, I play with lightsabers, a lot of people were like, oh, young Ahsoka, let's go. Any thoughts on maybe a young Ahsoka being involved with Kenobi from you, Jacob? Like, would you want to see that? Or is that just something that you're like, okay, I actually don't really need to see Ahsoka in this show? What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, I would be okay with it. It wouldn't make sense to me why not just, cast Rosario Dawson.
Correct. And that was going to be the avenue that I took with that as well. Yeah. I know Rosario Dawson is playing Ahsoka, 20 years down the line?
Yeah.
But I still think you can de-age a little bit to make it look like Rosario is that age. But I don't know. I see if her caption is being serious with the whole idea of I play with lightsabers, I see more so of an Inquisitor role.
Well, there's a few different options. There's Ahsoka, there's Inquisitor, and there's a rogue Jedi who didn't get, picked off.
So maybe she teams up with Kenobi.
Yeah.
Okay. I could see that. That's a good point. I didn't even think about that one for some reason. For me, I've just always mentally tell myself, all right, it's only Luke, Obi-Wan, Leia and Yoda out there at this
Yeah,
point.
I know.
But then Jedi Fallen Order
Right.
comes around,
And
we got Cal Kestis,
Rebels,
and
kind
Rebels,
of.
Ezra Bridger, Clone Wars, Ahsoka Tano.
Yeah.
So that kind of makes you got to at some point just open up and be like, okay, if they introduce a new character that's still out there lurking after Order 66, we just got to roll with it, because obviously there's more to that story than what initially met the eye when only the movies were coming out.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I like that possibility.
Out of those options, which would you like to see the most?
Oh, I'm still doubling down on Inquisitor.
I think I do too.
I would
love to see Inquisitors in a live action show.
Because we haven't gotten, because again, they've toyed with Moff Gideon possibly being an Inquisitor type.
Yeah.
But they haven't fully committed to that.
Well, but it's been proven that he wasn't, right? Because he was in the ISB.
Oh. Was he in the ISB?
Yeah, he was.
Yes, he was in the ISB. That's a good point. Okay, so so we haven't seen a live action Inquisitor at all then.
But we want
not
to.
in the slightest, but we do want to. I think that's one of the things that we really want to see out of Kenobi.
And I think that it needs to be seen in the live action.
Yeah, I think it's time. I think it's time
Wars.
to incorporate that aspect of the animation into live action, because they've already done that a lot. They've already taken a lot of animation stuff and brought it into live action. Why not take one of those best pieces from animation, which is Inquisitors, and bring it into live action? I think everyone's ready for it.
Yeah.
So I do think Moses Ingram, if in fact that caption in her post is on the money, that she does in fact play with lightsabers, then I think this is a good possibility of her to be playing that role. Let us know what you think. If you want to see Moses Ingram play an Inquisitor, jump down in the YouTube comments and say, I want to see Moses Ingram play an Inquisitor. But if you don't, tell us who you want her to play instead.
I want to see Inquisitors regardless. Honestly,
even if it's not her. Yeah.
You know what I would love to see really is just Obi-Wan. I don't know what the situation was going to be, but I just kind of want it to just be Obi-Wan. And he's just trying to fight off all these Inquisitors that are trying to hunt him down, and Vader, who's sending them to go find him for him.
Yeah.
Until finally, both of them maybe confront each other like we've talked about.
I think so. Man, that'd be a great story, and I'm there for it. That'd be action-packed. All right, the next one that I wanted to talk about is probably what most people took out of this cast announcement. And that is Joel Edgerton and Bonnie Peace coming back to play Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru. They played those two characters in the prequels. They're coming back. Makes total sense.
Yeah.
Like, when you see this, it's not something that, like, oh my gosh, like, that's completely surprising. It's one of those things that, like, oh, okay, that's really exciting, but it makes sense for the story. Like, why wouldn't they be there?
Right.
For
sure.
I do think those two characters, though, present an avenue of seeing young Luke, though.
Yeah.
Like, if those two are shown, how could you not show a little 10-year-old Luke Skywalker playing with toys or doing whatever a 10-year-old Luke Skywalker's doing?
Or at least having, Luke.
Yeah. Just like they did in Rebels.
Yeah.
Just like in that one Obi Wan Kenobi episode from Rebels, where you see a Luke Skywalker just running across. It's like a silhouette kind of thing.
Yeah.
Running across the sand back to the home. And you hear Beru say Luke like that. Yeah, something like that. I mean, I do kind of want to see more than that, though, since we've already gotten that idea from Rebels.
Yeah.
Maybe just Luke in the corner feeling the Force. I don't know. Just because we know that Luke hasn't been trained whatsoever by the time A New Hope comes around.
No.
But I do think that he's got to, at least at some point in his childhood, come to the realization that he has this feeling. He just doesn't know what it is yet.
Yeah.
He just can't put his finger on it.
And I mean, he knows that he's adopted. He knows that his dad he's not around.
Right.
He knows his mom isn't around.
Yeah.
Does he, I'm trying to remember right now. Does he think that his dad is dead?
He thinks his dad is dead.
Okay, right.
Because, I mean, at least in A New Hope, Obi-Wan explains that he died in the Clone Wars.
Yeah. But did he know that he died before Obi-Wan said that.
I'm not 100% sure right now.
Yeah, not right now.
The answer might be out there, but for some reason I don't know
it's
it off the top.
definitely out there.
Yeah, it probably is. It probably is, but anyway, let us know if you know. Did Luke know that Anakin, or did he think that Anakin died before Obi-Wan told him in A New Hope? Let us know if you know that answer.
And in any case, Luke already knows about, Ben, the hermit out in the desert.
Yeah, he's heard stories.
Right. But has he met him?
Ooh, and that...
That's the big question. Has he met
I've always thought
Ben
that it's
Kenobi?
one of those things that... You know how you meet somebody as a really young kid, and then you see them later in life, and you're like, man, I feel like I've seen you before, but I'm not 100% sure that I have seen you before.
Yeah.
I think it could easily be one of those situations.
No, but he does... Okay, in A New Hope, when Obi-Wan picks him up from the attack by the Tusken Raiders, he says, Ben, like, he's familiar, right? I feel more like it's like when you're a kid and there's someone in your life every now and then that you become familiar enough, but later in life they show up just after a long time.
Right.
And it kind of takes you off guard and you're surprised.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll see. I would be okay with them not meeting, but I would also be stoked for them actually meeting each other.
Yeah.
But we'll see. I'm okay with either avenue as long as the execution is perfect. I mean, that's all you can ask for.
Well, I mean, in any case, Obi-Wan's got to be at or around the homestead.
Right. To do his job.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And also for Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru to make a show.
True. That's a good point.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, next on the cast list, we got Kumail Nanjiani. I probably mispronounced his name, but he's typically in comedic roles, and he's actually cast in Marvel's upcoming Eternals, so you're going to see him in another Disney project later in the year.
What is that?
I don't know too much about
Eternals?
Marvel's storylines, but I'm looking forward to that because it's got a lot of Game of Thrones alum in it, and you know how I feel about Game of Thrones. So I'll be checking it out. But typically this guy does play in comedic roles, so I can kind of see it being one of those situations. I think he's going to be like the comedic relief, possibly.
Right.
And he's a great actor. He's not... I could see him going outside of that comedic avenue if they need him to, but just on the surface, when I look at this list, I'm like, okay, he's got to be the less serious of the bunch.
Right.
But we'll see. All right, then we got Indira Varma, which we've talked about her before. She is from Game of Thrones. Me and Nolan speculated heavily that she could possibly be an Inquisitor or maybe as far as a secret apprentice to Vader. I think now that Moses Ingram was talking about how she played with lightsabers, again, if that's 100% the truth, I don't think Indira Varma is going to be playing that type of role anymore.
But why not have more than one Inquisitor?
I don't disagree. I would love to see more than one Inquisitor.
Why not have like a whole squad teamed up?
That'd be great.
Hunting down Obi Wan Kenobi.
That would 1,000% be great. But I don't know. If I had to put money on it, I would still say that only Moses Ingram is going to be an Inquisitor.
Okay,
of the cast that's announced. Now, they could have unannounced cast members just be like backup roles playing an Inquisitor, but you just never see their face, so it's not enough to put them on the cast list.
But no, okay, so I have something. This is going to go off of the cast list that we're talking about again, but...
Here we go.
There's 7 sisters in the Inquisitors, right?
I don't know. 7 sisters?
Yeah. Like... one of the Inquisitors is called Third Sister, and one of them is called Seventh Sister. Right? Like, there's one in Rebels. She's called...
Oh, there's a bunch of numbers. So we've got I'm seeing just when I typed in Inquisitor sisters. Yeah. We've got the 9th sister being former Jedi Masana Tide. The 10th brother being the former Jedi Master Prosit Dibs. The 2nd sister being the former Jedi. Like, it's just going on and on and on. So,
You know what?
I think, okay, how many sister Inquisitors are there? It says in current canon, there are 11 known Inquisitors.
Oh, wow.
Those named are the Grand Inquisitor, second sister, fourth sister, fifth brother, sixth brother, seventh sister, eighth brother, ninth sister, and 10th brother. So it's not going off of the number of sisters or brothers. It's just going down the list.
Yeah.
So there's 11 total Inquisitors that we know of.
Mm-hmm.
But again, this show could introduce
more. Or I wonder if you looked at that list and, looked into who each one of them is, if that would tell you who some of our cast members could be.
Who could be alive in this situation.
Yeah.
Who has or hasn't been killed at this point.
Yeah.
It's possible. It's possible. But we won't do that here because it will take too long on that because we got other things to get to. So, Indira Varma, regardless of what type of role she plays, I'm excited to see her. She's a great actress. Love seeing her on screen, so I can't wait to see whatever role she plays. Next on the list is Rupert Friend. Apparently, he's in the show called Homeland. I haven't seen this, but Homeland, for his role in that, he received a Primetime Emmy Award nomination, so that's impressive. And when I look at the guy, I do think he could have that Imperial look, so maybe he's just an Imperial officer, who knows? But we'll see. The next one, O'Shea Jackson Jr., he is the son of rapper Ice Cube. He portrayed Ice Cube in Straight Outta Compton. I have not seen that film, so I don't know anything about his performance in that, but exciting, to say the least. Sung Kang, you know a little bit about Sung Kang. He is from the Fast and Furious franchise. He was the actor who played Han in Fast and Furious. Exciting to see him. Simone Kessel, I don't know anything about her, but her last name is very Star Wars related, so that's great to see with the Kessel Run. And then Benny Safdie, I think I'm saying that right. He is an actor and director. So a loaded cast, to say the least. We don't know a whole lot about some of those there at the end of that list, other than I've seen them before. They are very talented, and I can't wait to see him in Kenobi.
Yeah.
That is a jam-packed cast, and I don't expect Kenobi to win awards, but I do, with that cast list, I do expect it to be nominated for awards, just like The Mandalorian has been nominated for awards. So can't wait to see it.
All right. How do you think it'll deliver for the fans compared to The Mandalorian?
Kenobi?
Yeah.
Just the show overall.
Yeah.
I think the fans will love it, honestly.
Okay.
Deborah Chow, from what we've seen, she gets it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if Favreau and Filoni are going to be producers of this show, but I would imagine that Deborah Chow has their phone number in her phone to call them up if she ever has any questions.
Yeah.
She has the right people in her ballpark, in her court, to contact when she needs help. I don't even suspect that she needs that much help because she's that great. So I fully trust her to deliver a great story, great action. I think Kenobi's going to be great. When we see a red lightsaber, regardless if it's Vader, or Inquisitor or Inquisitors, clash with a blue Kenobi lightsaber. Chills already.
Yeah.
Like, you've already got me in. You got Hayden Christensen. That's a win already, in my opinion. Regardless if he's only playing Vader or if he's going back. If we're going back in time with some flashbacks and we're seeing some more of their connection, you got me hooked already, and you've got me happy already. Just them finally committing to doing this project makes me excited. It makes me feel okay, they're finally getting on board, and they know what they got going on for them now. So let's do it. And I can't wait to see it. Now, before we move away from Kenobi, I did want to quickly do this. Talk about who was missing from the cast announcement. Who was missing that we possibly could have seen. Number one on my list is Liam Neeson. Obviously, he played Qui-Gon Jinn. He was
absolutely.
He was not listed on that cast. Now, that does not rule out the fact of him actually coming in.
Right.
Because that could be like their big surprise, like their Luke Skywalker moment that they want to save.
And that cast list could just be like major roles.
Right. It could be like the episode to episode characters. Kind of like with the first season of Mandalorian, they listed out Pedro Pascal, Carl Weathers, Taika Waititi, Gina Carano. They listed all of the actor and actresses out.
Mm-hmm.
Even if we got more, which we definitely got more than what
Mhm.
they initially announced.
Yeah,
So, yeah, I think
exactly.
that's possible.
Yeah.
100% possible. But I don't think they would put that on the list anyway. Even if Liam Neeson is 100% on it in the show, and maybe if he's in it more than once, I still don't think that they would put him on the list because they want everyone to be surprised by it.
Yeah.
They want that to be the big moment. They want that to break the internet like Luke Skywalker broke the internet.
Yeah.
All right, that was my number one. Second one is I'm surprised that we didn't get a young, like 10-year-old boy actor listed.
But again, that could be like what you were saying.
Right.
You know, something that later on becomes a surprise.
Right. Because you know immediately, if they had put a picture of a young 10-year-old boy in that cast announcement, you already know who it is.
Yeah.
Everyone is committed to knowing that Luke Skywalker's in the show. There's nothing to be surprised about at this
Mhm.
point. So I think that's something they're probably holding on to. Okay, the next one, third, Ahmed Best as Jar Jar Binks. Now, I don't need to see Jar Jar Binks in Kenobi at all, and that's nothing against Jar Jar. I'm kind of over my distaste for Jar Jar. I like Jar Jar.
Yeah.
I'm not one of those that's like, oh, Jar Jar Binks ruined Star Wars. No, that's not me. Like, we can move on from that. If they had wanted to put Jar Jar in it, I would have been excited. I would have been happy to see it. But I'm surprised that he's not on it because there was a report or rumor that came out like last year, maybe around this time frame, that Jar Jar was going to be in Kenobi. Are you disappointed with that he's not listed, or what are your thoughts on it?
I think I'm kind of on the same page as you, where I would be excited. I would be happy to see Jar Jar back on.
Uh-huh.
But you know, I don't feel like I need to see him.
Agreed.
And another person on your list is the actor who plays Bail Organa.
Correct, Jimmy Smits.
And it could just be that Obi-Wan isn't getting in connection with people who have ties to politics because that's kind of dangerous.
Yeah,
right?
that's true. That's true. But we do see in Rogue One, he knows who to trust, right? He's talking about Kenobi.
Right.
Oh, no, he's talking about Leia. He says, I would trust her with my life. But there's also a Kenobi plug in Rogue One, is there not? I feel like there was a Kenobi plug from him. I need to go back and watch that movie. It's honestly been like...
No, I think there is. Yeah.
It's been like 6 months since I've
Bail
seen
Organa
Rogue
says
One.
something like... No, you're right.
It's a Leia
He
reference.
was talking about Leia, yeah.
For some reason, I was thinking that there was also a Kenobi plug, though. I don't know. Maybe there is, maybe there isn't, but regardless...
It's been a while since I've watched it.
Bail and Obi-Wan, I think, developed a pretty solid friendship.
Mm-hmm.
We just didn't get to see a lot of it because there was too much
going on.
Too much going on during Revenge of the Sith for them to dive into that.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say, and at least in my own head canon, while all that nonsense was going on screen, if Kenobi, I do think Kenobi and Bail were probably communicating and great friends with each other. So it'd be great to see that relationship continue, but I do kind of see your point. Like, if he's trying to be in hiding, he can't be communicating with political figures.
Right. Especially since I think they still have... I know that Bail Organa still has to have, like, a position in the Imperial government, right?
True.
Because of who he is for Alderaan.
Yeah. All right, next on the list for who was missing, and it's actually my last one, James Earl Jones, the voice of Darth Vader. If you're going to have Hayden Christensen come back to play Darth Vader, we know it's not going to be Hayden Christensen's voice for Darth Vader.
Unless he doesn't have the mask on.
True. That's another good point.
Or he's in the Bacta tank, you know?
Yeah. I do think, though, if they have Vader's mask on, then James Earl Jones probably has recorded some things for him.
Yeah.
But outside of that, I mean, I guess it could be another one of those situations where they don't have to put him on the list because that could be a surprise, and they just, again, don't want to reveal it.
And again, maybe that list is just like the main characters who we see.
Absolutely.
You know,
any other possible characters that we might be missing of people who were missing from that list? I know I saw some out there that were surprised possibly that Frank Oz wasn't on there, voice of Yoda, to communicate back and forth with Kenobi.
No, I don't think.
Okay. You don't see Yoda in this show?
Again, that's dangerous. for them, right?
True. To communicate.
Yeah.
Okay. Anybody else?
Plus, I feel like Yoda wouldn't do that. He's there on Dagobah, and he's waiting, and I feel like he knows he's waiting.
That's true.
You know?
Yeah, I don't disagree. I can't think of anyone else personally. I do think I saw some people say Natalie Portman, just for a flashback as her being Padme.
Yeah.
I don't need to see that personally. I would love to see it. Don't get me wrong. Yeah. But I don't think that's one that I want on my list of, why is she not on this cast?
What about, I forget his name, the Emperor.
Oh, Ian McDermott.
Yeah.
That is a possibility.
Ooh.
That is a possibility. And again, I wouldn't want that one announced either.
Yeah.
I would want that one tabled, and I want to be surprised. I want to hear his voice for the first time in Kenobi, not knowing that he's going to be in the show.
Lord Vader.
Yes.
How goes it finding your old master? Sorry.
No. That was good. Yeah, I would love to see Ian McDermott. Love to see him. Okay, that is all of the good bits and pieces, all of our discussion and breakdown for the Obi Wan Kenobi Disney Plus series officially announcing their cast. Let us know what you think of that cast. Let us know what you expect to see from Kenobi, possibly your theories, predictions, crazy things. If you think that me and Jacob got something completely wrong, let us know. I'm running on like 2 cups of coffee here, so I'm starting to feel a little jittery, so I feel like I might be skipping over some things.
Oh, boy.
But we'll see, and we're about halfway through the show at this point because we got something else to talk about.
I don't think you are skipping over anything.
I don't think so either.
I'm not jittery like you
I'm
are.
getting jittery, man.
You're on a different level than me.
Well, yeah, so again, tell us what you think about Kenobi. Tell us what you think about all that good stuff down in the YouTube comments. Now, the next thing that we're going to talk about, I'm super excited for this. The Bad Batch. The Bad Batch officially got its final trailer. And again, before we dive into what we saw in the trailer, I'm going to read the synopsis that was on StarWars.com that accompanied the trailer. Following their literally explosive introduction in the final season of Star Wars The Clone Wars, Clone Force 99, a.k.a. The Bad Batch, will soon step into the spotlight. Star Wars The Bad Batch arrives May the 4th with a special 70-minute premiere on Disney+, starring our new favorite squad of elite clones as they find their way in the immediate aftermath of the Clone War. Okay, when I read that, first thing that sticks out to me, 70-minute premiere, let's go, on May the 4th. Dude,
I like that.
That's awesome. That's a perfect way to celebrate our Star Wars holiday.
Yeah.
Second thing that stands out, starring our new favorite squad of elite clones as they find their way in the immediate aftermath of the Clone War. So we are picking up right where we left off with the final season of the Clone Wars, basically. This is basically season 8 of the Clone Wars. Honestly, if they had wanted to call it that, that'd have been perfectly fine.
Yeah.
So yeah, just those 2 things already before I even get into the trailer got me super excited. 70-minute premiere. I'll be watching that 2 or 3 times probably throughout that day.
I know you will.
Oh, and you best believe that we're going to be talking about it. We might have to have a special Mando Talk episode for May the 4th.
Okay.
I think we did that last year. I think me and you did a special May the 4th episode because they released the Clone Wars finale on May the 4th last year. So we're going to have to do that again with the Bad Batch 70-minute premiere. Let's go.
Yeah.
Okay. And then again, immediate aftermath of the Clone War. That gets me super stoked. Because I think we're going to see Palpatine. We're going to see... And we already do know that. We already know that because we've seen a trailer of him making the announcement of the Galactic Empire.
Right.
Of at least like it being broadcasted throughout Coruscant.
Like him in the building or him made prettied up?
No,
like the propaganda.
No, it's him in the building.
Okay.
But it's him with his hood on so you can't see his scars and everything. Right. So it's kind of like... I don't know if in Revenge of the Sith there was like a camera going around him.
Oh, yeah.
That's the view that's being put out through Coruscant that we saw in the first trailer for the Bad Batch.
Okay.
So I'm still assuming that that's going to be probably one of the opening scenes for that 70-minute premiere to let us know that, boom, we're right back where we left off.
Yeah.
Okay, are you ready to dive into the trailer?
Yeah.
Let's dive into the trailer. I have probably watched this trailer, I would say about 5, 6, 7, 8, maybe 10 times. There's a lot to it, man. On this, I keep telling Jacob, on the surface, it's just 2 minutes, and you see, okay, this is cool Clone Wars animation. Looks a little bit better than Clone Wars, though, obviously, because modern technology, I think. But outside of that, there wasn't much to it. That's what you would think on the surface. Like, you just watch it for 2 minutes, and you're like, okay, cool. A Clone Wars sequel, basically.
Yeah.
Nah, that ain't it.
But of course, we're gonna
dive into it.
Look into every detail.
Every single detail. Possibly can. So let's do it. First thing, we open up on Kamino, and man, first of all, Kamino, it's great to be back. We love the prequels here.
Wow, it's a very rainy, gloomy planet.
Dude, but I love Kamino because honestly, the first thing that I think about when I see Kamino is Star Wars Battlefront. Oh, that was one of my favorite maps when we played that game.
Really?
Absolutely.
Oh,
I loved it.
I'm trying to think of the
because it was a wide open map, and for me, someone that's not good at shooting games, that helps.
Like original Battlefront.
Both of them.
Oh, okay.
Both of them.
I thought that map was hard.
Now, in the new Battlefronts, they definitely have some layouts for Kamino that make it a lot more difficult.
Really?
Yeah.
Like different because of the different tiers and platforms and stuff.
And they do more stuff interior.
And corridors and...
Yeah.
Okay, wow.
So, but anyway, as soon as I see Kamino, that's one of the first things I think about. But also on that list is just this idea of the clones being developed. Sorry.
That map was really hard for me because it's dark there too.
Okay. Well, see, maybe I don't know. Every map is hard for me.
It was always harder to fight against the droids than be a droid and fight against the clones.
Uh-huh.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
I think it's because of the droidicas.
Oh, no doubt.
Like, for some reason, the computer clones just don't know how to destroy droidicas in Battlefront.
No. Yeah, droidicas
and
were
they
on
get
roids.
Slaughtered by them.
They were the roidicas. No doubt. So, yeah, we opened on Kamino, and then here's the next thing that happens in that trailer. Admiral Tarkin is testing the Bad Batch, and then here's his quote. He says, "They exhibit a concerning level of disobedience and disregard for order. That's why he's wanting to test them." And this statement that he makes lends me to believe that Clone Force 99 did not execute Order 66. Is that what you took away from that?
Like they were told to, but they didn't?
Correct.
Maybe.
Or somehow they've got to know somehow that they didn't perform it, or else he wouldn't be testing them, is how I kind of took that. So maybe they witnessed them not performing it. I don't know. Or maybe they just know about these elite clones out there. Let's get them back and let's see how we can use them at this point.
Yeah.
But I think, for me, I want to see answers of what was their involvement level with Order 66.
Yeah, I would like to see that.
And I think that would be a perfect connection there. Like, Tarkin is very interested to see why did these dudes not perform Order 66 and everyone else did. Well, other than Rex.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Was that your takeaway, or were you thinking about something different when you said that?
That wasn't my takeaway, but now it is.
Okay. What was your initial takeaway, though?
Just that maybe just that he wanted to test the performance of this squad in light of new leadership.
Okay.
You know.
Because they know that they're special.
Yeah.
Okay. I guess I'm just reading into the line of, again, him saying they exhibit a concerning level of disobedience and disregard for order. So that's making me think, okay, there's our Order 66 connection. Yeah. But we'll see. All right, next that we see in the trailer, Hunter is seen on a speeder on a new planet that has Coruscant vibes. And I got that from the traffic pattern that we see. I don't think it's Coruscant. It just looks kind of different, but definite Coruscant vibes. And then next, the Bad Batch wipes through Separatist droids. Now, this was interesting. I have always thought that immediately when Anakin gets to Mustafar, and he's there with the Trade Federation.
All of the representatives of the Confederacy
decommissioned every single droid out there. Kind of like how in Episode 1, when that ship was destroyed, all of the droids shut off.
Yeah.
I thought that that's what they were doing there, and that's what Anakin was doing there, was getting all of the Separatist army turned off, basically.
He was definitely there to wipe out the leadership.
Correct.
Forever.
Right.
I don't know, though, because droids could have gone into other people's hands.
True. And we also see droids in Rebels. In Rebels, there's a mission where Rex and the droids actually team up to kill things.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so we've seen droids before.
That's wild.
We've seen Separatist army droids still out there.
Yeah. I mean, they would definitely still be out there.
So that's going to be interesting to see. I would love to know what happens to all the different droid cells that are out there after the events of Order 66. See if maybe some of them make it out of this age in the galaxy. Because I know we don't see any during the originals or the sequels.
Right.
And I haven't seen any in The Mandalorian so far. Unless they're just in the background chilling. But I don't know.
In
We'll
flashbacks.
see. Yeah, true. We'll see. I don't know. That's interesting to me, though, as soon as we saw those droids.
Yeah.
Just point blank.
Well, just think about how many billions of them there would be in the galaxy.
True.
And this is
kind of
right
hard
after.
to control. Yeah. Immediately. Yeah.
Yeah, and you can't immediately demolish
That's true.
billions of droids.
That's true. That's fair. That's fair.
So the question really would be who's controlling them,
exactly.
right? Because those droids aren't really like the self-autonomous type like C-3PO and R2-D2.
For some reason, you got to think the answer lies with Palpatine somehow. He's
know,
involved
maybe.
somehow. But then you've probably got your engineers out there that have reprogrammed a lot of these droids to follow their commands.
Yeah.
So that's probably why you still got droids out there.
Yeah.
All right, next on the list of what happened in the trailer, we see a new character named Omega. And this character looks like
Uncannily
she is in
resembles.
Camino. She's in Camino, and she does look very similar to clones.
Yeah.
Now, when you don't...
almost exactly.
Yeah. When you don't have the subtitles on, it's just a character. We don't know the name, anything like that.
Yeah.
But when you turn those subtitles on, you get the name of this character, and that character name is Omega. Now, we obviously know that Omega word...
Omega is the last letter in the Greek alphabet.
Thank you for hopping in there.
So we speculate that Omega here, is the last
clone.
The last clone, basically.
Yeah, and a lot of people out there on the internet's doing this too. Like, it's not just us.
Yeah. But the thing is, it's that Omega is a female. It's a girl.
So somehow Omega has been altered.
Yeah. So she's another altered clone. Another enhanced or...
Right.
What's another word? Like, just
superior?
Not superior, but...
Altered,
an analog.
Toyed with?
An analog, or like a... just like the Bad Batch.
Right. Which makes sense as to why she knows about them.
Yeah.
Because she's just naming them.
Yeah.
Boom, boom, boom. Oh, Hunter, Echo, Crosshair, yada, yada, yada. List goes on. So she knows about them. So maybe that's why she knows about them. Maybe she's been taught about these other clones that are very similar to you. Y'all are different. And here's why we made y'all different. I don't know. I'm speculating there. But that would make sense as to why she feels immediately connected with this group.
Yeah.
Enough to trust them to leave the place.
Yeah.
Which we'll get to later in the trailer.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Omega, just that name, makes me really invested and interested in this character already.
Yeah,
because
me too.
As soon as I see that name, I'm thinking, okay, this is the last clone that was developed on Camino, which already makes that character interesting. Who knows what could come with that, the baggage that could come with being the last clone. Why she's been altered, I don't know.
A female version of
right.
Jango.
A female version of Jango. Like, we don't know all these answers, but man, I'm intrigued. 1,000%.
Yeah, I am too. I'm intrigued by the fact that they would have to add on an entire section of chromosome to her.
Now, I've also seen people also speculate that she's the Ezra of this show. Like, she's kind of got that persona, like the young one that doesn't really know their purpose in the galaxy, but she's going to go on this mission and realize what her purpose was.
And she'll play a bigger role later on.
Right.
I see.
I'm hesitant to even ask this question because it's just, I don't know. People ask this question all the time with any new character. Could you see an avenue of her being force sensitive?
Nah.
No? Okay. I just wanted to throw that on the table because it's always a question that comes up with Star Wars.
Unless all the way right after the Clone Wars, the cloning projects that were going on were already trying to create people that had midichlorians.
Right.
Like we see in The Mandalorian.
Yeah. Ooh.
Unless that started happening way back then.
Maybe she's the first one. And they lose her, so they don't know, because she escapes. So they don't know how to recreate what they did with her until the time of The Mandalorian. I don't know. We're speculating hardcore right now.
Yeah, so what makes you feel like she could be?
I don't know, it's just part of me, honestly, that Star Wars always has a force-sensitive character in the middle of a story.
Yeah.
We know with the Bad Batch there are no force-sensitive characters so far. Other than her would be the possibility. But we'll see. I mean, and I don't want her. I'm not saying that I want her to be force sensitive. I'm just throwing that possibility out there.
Right.
Like, what would that look like? How would that come to play? Like, I don't know. I'm just throwing that out.
Okay.
Not necessarily believing it or thinking that it's going to happen.
Right.
Just asking that question because I'm sure there's people out there listening that possibly thought, okay, maybe Omega could be force sensitive. Who knows?
Yeah.
And you're justifiable in thinking that because we'll see. Your guess is as good as ours. 1,000%. The next thing that we see, and we could talk about Omega honestly all night, but anyway, the next thing that we see is Hunter. Hunter is wiping through some clones, or at least soldiers in clone armor, because we know at some point the clones are no longer active in the Imperial Navy or in their army.
Yeah.
So are we going to see that happen in the Bad Batch? Who knows?
Oh, that would be cool.
But currently they are in full-on clone armor.
But think about Omega would be like, something about her would tell us why clones get decommissioned.
Okay.
Right?
Possibly. Because the clones got to get decommissioned at some point, and it would make sense to do it in this show.
And if she's the last one, then she's, the last one.
Right. So I thought that was interesting, just seeing Hunter killing a bunch of the clones.
Yeah. Yeah, because Tarkin decides that they're a threat
Enemies,
to the Order of the Empire.
Tarkin is surrounded by Emperor Palpatine's shock troopers. Again, those shock troopers are still in clone armor, though. And then Tarkin orders soldiers to find Clone Force 99 and wipe them out. So they are enemy of the Empire at this point. I think at the beginning of the show, we're going to see the Empire interested in getting them on board because of their talents. They're going to realize that they do not listen to our orders. So obviously they are too powerful to be out there on their own doing their own thing. So we got to kill them. And then next in the trailer, we do see Fennec Shand. And here's my possibilities and my thoughts on this, how Fennec comes into play. I think the Empire possibly hires her as a bounty hunter to kill the Bad Batch initially.
Yeah.
I think Fennec Shand is an enemy to our characters at first. But I think something's going to happen to where she realizes that, okay, maybe these guys aren't that bad, and I'm going to let them walk, basically.
Right.
Now, with Fennec Shand, do you think we could see Boba Fett? Could we see their relationship start here, and that's why Boba Fett was so interested in her when we get to The Mandalorian? Could this be where that story could take place? Or have you always seen those characters as just characters that are in the right place at the right time in The Mandalorian, and that's their first introduction to each other?
That's kind of how I've always seen them.
Okay. But would you be against them having a background going as far back into the Bad Batch storyline?
I don't know.
Okay, great analysis there, man. Great analysis. I'd be okay with it. I have always personally interpreted Finnick just being in the right place at the right time when Boba showed up. Yeah. I've never really viewed them as having a deep history with each other, but I wouldn't be against it. If they introduce those two in the Bad Batch together, that's fine. I mean, obviously, if the Empire is hiring Finnick for a job, then Boba, because he works for the Empire, or he does jobs for the Empire later in the originals, obviously he would know about her, probably, more than likely.
Yeah.
So it's definitely possible that they run into each other and form a relationship. And when I say relationship, I'm not talking about love or anything like that. Don't get me wrong on that. Don't get it twisted. Just people that know each other.
Yeah.
By association.
Yeah.
So we'll see. But I'm excited to see Fennec Shand, regardless. Next, we got the Bad Batch and Omega flee from an Imperial location because the Bad Batch have like these all black Imperial suits on. And do you think this is Kamino that they're escaping from?
I think this might all be within the first 1 to 2 episodes, or maybe
70-minute premiere.
Yeah, maybe even just off first episode that they're at Kamino.
Yeah. And they escape it.
Tarkin wants to analyze their performance and see how well they obey orders. They fail with that.
Right.
And he decides that, well, no. And they start getting the sense
that they should flee.
That they should get out while they can, because they already can tell that the Empire, the new military...
shouldn't be trusted.
Right, the new military hotshots just want compliance.
Correct.
And don't want, outliers in their military.
Yeah, which would make sense.
Which they are.
Yeah.
By nature, they're different clones. They're different than all the rest.
Right.
And if it's true...
And so is Omega.
Yeah, and if it's true that they didn't go through with Order 66, then that would, just all the more show how different they are from the rest of the clones.
Right. Now, while they are escaping, I'm going to go ahead and say it's Kamino, because that just makes sense. Because if Omega's on Kamino, then that's where she would be escaping from.
Yeah.
So they're escaping Kamino. But while they're escaping, we do not see Crosshair.
Yeah.
We don't see him in their group. We don't see him in the group later in the trailer when they're in their ship. Mm-hmm. We don't see Crosshair in the group later in the trailer when they're with Saul. And we'll get to Saul here in a second. Does Crosshair not agree with leaving the Empire? Is Crosshair wanting to work for the Empire? Does Crosshair possibly become an enemy of the Bad Batch? I don't know. That would be a very interesting plot
all in the
point.
First episode?
Well, not necessarily in the first episode. He just gets left behind because he wants to stay. And then maybe that's how the Bad Batch Season 1
But
ends.
if they leave in the first episode, then he would stay behind in the first episode.
Right, but we would still see him
as helping to hunt them down.
But Crosshair was with Rex, though, wasn't he? Did we not see him in that shot?
I don't know.
I don't remember. But regardless, Crosshair is missing from a bunch of these shots.
Yeah.
We just see the 4 of them, not the 5 of them.
Yeah.
Plus Omega. So I don't know if Crosshair is going to turn evil or if he's going to die. Or maybe he's just not in the shot because he just couldn't fit in the frame. Maybe we're reading into that too much. But yeah, what do you think from that?
I don't know.
Great analysis.
No, I mean, like, out of all of the squad, Crosshair is more like the
cold-blooded.
And I don't want to say
Empire-like.
The most calculated because I don't know all of their names, but one of them is more calculated than all of the others. Mm-hmm. But he's not like
Tech.
He's not like indifferent to. He's not like indifferent to. What am I even saying now?
Yeah, I don't know.
My train, my.
I don't know what you're saying.
Is that his name, Tech?
Tech is the one with the glasses, the computer guy.
What I was saying is Tech is calculating, but he's not like he seems like he takes moral sides, right?
Okay.
Whereas Crosshair,
attaboy.
He's calculated, but he doesn't seem like he cares about.
Right.
He seems like he would be, it seems like he would be more likely to stay behind and be in the Empire.
Imperial-like.
Yeah.
Okay. No, I don't disagree with that. I don't disagree with that at all. I think that's a good take. And like you said, of the 5, I think Crosshair would be the character that would want to stick with the Empire because maybe he likes their philosophies. I don't know.
Yeah.
But we'll see. Maybe I'm reading too much into that. Maybe I'm not. Let us know what you think in the YouTube comments. Next on the list of what happens in the trailer, we do see Captain Rex. He is seen leading the Bad Batch through Republic wreckage, which is going to be really interesting to see. The state of what all that looks like, the galaxy in general.
Mm-hmm.
But
first
of all, when you see Captain Rex, who's the first character you think about?
That's always with him?
Correct.
Ahsoka Tano.
Do you think we're going to see Ahsoka Tano in the Bad Batch?
We could.
Okay.
Or they could have already parted ways.
This might be a hot take. This might be a really hot take.
Okay.
I love Ahsoka Tano.
Yeah.
I would love to hear Rex talk about Ahsoka Tano. But I don't want to see Ahsoka Tano. Only because we are getting so much of Ahsoka Tano already.
Yeah.
I'm afraid of them. And this isn't for me. Okay, so maybe I got too aggressive there. I wouldn't hate it if I saw Ahsoka Tano. Like, when I see Ahsoka, I would be like, yeah, let's go. It's Ahsoka. But at what point, for people that aren't like me, is there too much Ahsoka?
I see.
We got Ahsoka in The Mandalorian. We're getting Ahsoka, the show. We got people talking about Ahsoka being in Kenobi. We got people talking about Ahsoka being in The Bad Batch. Like, at what point does it become too small of a galaxy if Ahsoka is showing up in every single thing? You know?
Right.
I don't know. And again, for me, I would love to see it, but I don't need to see it. I don't need to see it.
Or she could be like, shoot, slipping in everywhere.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I would love to hear Rex say something about what she's doing, how they escaped, how they got out of Order 66 alive, how they survived, and how they're still communicating with each other and staying in touch. But I don't necessarily need to see her. Maybe through a hologram, that'd be fine.
Yeah.
But I don't need to see her interconnected with the storyline.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you want to see Ahsoka really bad. Go ahead and roast me. Say, no, Caleb, you're completely wrong. We need to see Ahsoka because this. Tell me why. But currently, right now, I don't see the need for Ahsoka Tano. But I could be wrong. Dave Filoni knows better. And again, that's something important to point out that we haven't pointed out. Dave Filoni is heavily invested with the show from what I've read. So it would make sense for him to want to bring Ahsoka because that's his baby. So we'll see. We'll see. Now, I don't even know where we're at here on this list. Oh, Saw Gerrera.
Yeah.
Saw Gerrera makes a comeback, I guess you could say. Very much looking like the Saw Gerrera we saw in the Clone Wars. Not Forrest Whitaker's live-action Saw Gerrera. They don't really look alike, honestly.
Yeah.
But he hasn't hit the stage where he's still needing, or where he's needing life support, basically. Yeah. So could we possibly see that in the show?
Yeah.
You think so?
Maybe.
Okay. I think in that episode, it'd be good to see him get injured really bad somehow, and that's the explanation behind why he's gotten to that point. When we see him in Rebels and when we see him in Rogue One. That'd be great to see. But anyway, I did want to read what Saul said. He says, the Clone Wars have ended. You can either adapt or survive or die with the past. The decision is yours. So again, the trailer does a great job of picking out these lines here that really point it home, direct the ship, well, I don't even know what I'm trying to say here.
Paint a picture of kind of what the galaxy is like now.
And it's also letting the audience know what the Bad Batch is going through and what kind of decisions they're going to have to make for their own livelihoods moving forward.
Yeah.
Anyway, geez, the coffee has hit, dude. Like, I am so jittery right now, so we're going to try to get through this as calm and collective as possible. Omega's crossbow. We see that quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Looks very similar to the Night Sisters crossbow in the Clone Wars. I thought that was interesting. Mm-hmm. Maybe we will visit that planet.
Dathomir.
Yeah, possibly. Maybe that's how she gets the crossbow. I don't know, but I thought that was an interesting connection, you could say. Imperial forces invade a town while the Bad Batch attacks. That town looked very similar to Naboo.
Oh, right.
But I don't think it's Naboo. I think it's somewhere new.
Do you think it's what is Saw Gerrera's planet?
Jeddah? Oh, from the Clone Wars.
Yeah.
I'm not sure off the top of my head. Here, you keep talking and I'll try to figure that out. If you have anything to keep saying.
I don't really.
Saw.
It just looks a lot like that kind of place to me.
Home planet. Saw Gerrera home planet. Let's see. Onderon.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you think it could be there?
Could be. Here, let me look up Onderon, man. Jeez. Because that would make sense. I mean, if they're already there on that planet meeting up with
Saw
Gerrera, it would make sense that maybe they are helping him out as far as preventing. Yes, it is Onderon.
Do you think? Oh, is
no,
you
sorry,
know for sure?
Sorry. Onderon is, what I was saying is Onderon is definitely the home planet of Saw Gerrera.
Yeah.
I'm trying to look at pictures of like the landscape of Onderon to make sure that possibly it's what we see in the Bad Batch, but man, my laptop is not cooperating with me right now.
Mm-hmm.
So Onderon is a world marked with savage jungles that were filled with dangerous creatures.
But this was like a city,
right?
That we were in that scene.
I'm trying to look up what it looks like in the Clone
Wars.
So
it looked a lot like either Naboo or, to me, I'm thinking of the city in Onderon, or it could be some other completely new.
Dude, it does kind of look like Onderon, honestly.
Does it?
Yeah. I could see it being Onderon for sure.
Okay.
So that's a possibility.
Good deal.
I like that. I didn't even put that connection together. So, yeah, maybe that's the case. Maybe that's the planet that the Bad Batch prevent the Imperial forces from attacking, and that's how Saw Gerrera comes to play.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see, though. Okay, and the next thing that we see is Fennec Shand. She, again, escapes an explosion from Hunter, so, again, it looks like she's trying to kill the Bad Batch, but I think at some point she's going to gain respect for him, and they'll just go their separate ways. We'll see.
Okay.
And then the last thing that I have here as far as trailer takeaways is this whip that was lit up. It kind of looked like Wonder Woman's lasso or whip, whatever you want to call it.
Right.
Jacob, you were talking about this before we started recording.
So
you noticed something. Go ahead and say it. Yeah.
Is it like the last scene?
It's one of the last scenes.
Okay. Well, it's Hunter. He's fighting a Zygerian with one of the whips.
Yeah, it's one of the Bad Batch members. I'm not sure if it was Hunter, but yeah.
So the Zygerians are like a race of people who keep the slave trade going in the galaxy. And you see them a lot in Clone Wars. Yeah,
so specifically in Clone Wars, the Zygerian plotline, that was when Anakin was like playing to be like attracted to this queen.
The queen of the Zygerians.
Right. Now, what was their mission there specifically? What do you remember? Because I'm struggling to remember.
The Zygerian Empire had something to do with, they were making allegiances with Dooku, and they were basically just trying to put an end to that.
Okay, I see now. Okay, yeah, what you were saying is exactly what's on here.
And of course, Dooku double-crossed them and just, took advantage of the situation when all of the people that were in his way died.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Like he always did.
To even double down on you saying that that's Zygerian, it's a Zygerian whip. When we paused it frame by frame, it did very much look like a Zygerian species.
Yeah.
So I do think that that's the case. Now, are we on that planet? I don't know.
I don't know.
It kind of looks like that terrain. We'll see. But if that's the case, then we went to a lot of different planets throughout that trailer.
I mean, we probably will.
Probably will.
In the whole show.
I mean, it's the animation of Star Wars with Rebels and Clone Wars. We go to a ton of places.
Yeah.
So I'd imagine the same thing.
Think
with
about all
Bad
the
Batch.
places that they went in Clone Wars and in Rebels.
Right.
You know?
And we're probably going to see some familiar places, obviously with Camino.
Yeah.
But I definitely think we're going to get some new places as well, which is really exciting.
Yeah.
Really exciting. Well, listen, guys, let us know what you thought of the Bad Batch trailer. I loved it. I thought it did its purpose. It let us know exactly what the story is, and I can't wait to see it. Now, as you're hearing this podcast, there's a couple of new things on Disney Plus regarding Star Wars. You got your legacy content. You got the old Clone Wars animation back on Disney Plus.
Dude, I am so pumped for that.
I wanted to bring that up because I knew you were going to say something along those lines.
I am so pumped for that. I love that original Clone Wars series because it is so expressive, just the animation style. And because you get to see so much more of the story of the battles that went on during the Clone Wars. One of the biggest things that I love about that Clone Wars is that you actually get to see General Grievous be the bad guy that he was always meant to be.
Yeah, and I think you've been very vocal about that take.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I can't wait to watch that some
He's
more.
intimidating. He's not a coward. He never backs down. He
That's
takes
good.
advantage of, like, he toys with Jedi. Like, he messes with their psychology. Like, he gets them off their footing. That's who General Grievous was always meant to be.
Yeah, no,
not
that's good.
someone who runs away just because he's outnumbered or, you know, he's backed into a corner.
Right.
Nah. Come on, dude. Look at him. That's who he was always meant to be.
Okay.
So that's why I love the
absolutely.
original Clone Wars series.
No, that's justifiable.
Oh, and you also get to see like more of Dooku and like how Dooku and General Grievous and Asajj, how Dooku kind of like trains them in a way.
Okay, I see.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't wait to dive into that whenever we get a chance to watch it. And you also got Ewok content that's out there that was on Disney Plus. So all of that came out on April 2nd. So as you're listening to this, hopefully you've checked out some of that content. I know we will on this end. We'll probably talk about some of that stuff on next week's episode. But after that, we have the Bad Batch coming on May the 4th. So we got all kinds of Star Wars content coming to us. Obviously, we are still patiently waiting for information with the Book of Boba Fett coming in December, information regarding Season 3 of The Mandalorian, which we still don't know exactly when that's going to come out.
Yep.
Those are obviously the big things for us, but right now we're getting some little things here and there. Obviously, the Bad Batch, I would say, is like a medium level kind of thing to be really excited about and to really look forward to. Now, the last thing that I do want to talk about here before we get out of here is the actress Erin Kellyman, which we've talked about Erin Kellyman a little bit maybe last week when we talked about Falcon and the Winter Soldier, because she is in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, but she's also the actress that played Enfys Nest in Solo.
Oh, right.
So the reason why we're bringing her up is she's been doing press tour for Falcon and the Winter Soldier, so that means she's been getting a lot of interviews. Well, recently, in an interview that she was doing for the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, they brought up Enfys Nest. They asked, would you like to play Enfys Nest again? And she said the following: I would absolutely love to play Enfys Nest again. I think she was such a fun character to play. It was my first movie, and I had such a great experience on that set, and Disney was incredible. If they said, do you want to play her again? I'd absolutely love to do that again. That would be amazing. So I just wanted to quickly talk about that because I could see an avenue of Enfys Nest coming into play, maybe outside of Solo. Like, we don't necessarily need to see a Solo 2 for Enfys Nest to pop up again.
Yeah.
Like, we could see Enfys Nest in the Bad Batch, for goodness sakes, possibly.
Yeah.
So I would love to see Erin Kellyman take on that role again, regardless of if they finally get around to making a Solo 2, which they probably won't because Disney's more worried about making money than anything. Or outside of that, she's a character that ties into a lot of different things. So what did you think of Enfys Nest? Would you love to see the character again?
Yeah, I liked Infant's Nest. I actually liked Solo.
Oh, I love Solo.
Yeah.
It's a great movie. Great movie.
And, I love that she loved playing that character.
Mm-hmm.
I love that she would love to come back.
Yeah.
Because she did it great. She played that character great.
She did.
And, yeah.
I would love to see her back. Let us know what you think about Aaron Kellyman coming back as Enfys Nest, because we would love to see it here. All right, we're going to go ahead and get out of here. That is this week's episode of Mando Talk. Let us know what you think about the Obi Wan Kenobi cast being announced.
Caleb is talking super fast.
Sorry, I'm trying to slow down. That coffee, man. The coffee, dude, it's just hitting me. So let us know what you think about the Kenobi cast. Let us know what you thought about the Bad Batch trailer, maybe predictions that you have. If we said something that you completely disagree with, let us know. There's no harm in telling us that. I'd appreciate having a good conversation with somebody that has a different opinion, a different take. It's always fun to see and communicate with. And then the last thing that we just talked about there, Aaron Kellyman, she wants to come back as Enfys Nest if that opportunity ever presents itself. So I hope to see it. We'll see, though. All right, Jacob, I appreciate you being here this week. I was super glad that we were back in studio this week. It's been a while since I've had someone else in here. Last week, we did an episode with Zach through Zoom, through the internet, so I haven't really physically been with someone in a couple of weeks to talk Star Wars, so it was really great to have Jacob the farmer, Galen Keller, back in studio with me.
And also the master.
Yeah, I don't know. We never got feedback on if we should call you the farmer or the master. So,
we didn't?
We didn't.
People don't care.
No, people probably think that both names apply, honestly.
Yeah.
We should just call you the FAMaster, the farmster, the farmster, the farmer plus master, the farmster. How about that?
That sounds a lot like a farting hamster.
All right, that's a weird place to take it. But anyway, we appreciate you being here, man. I'm glad that you can make it.
I appreciate you.
Absolutely. Follow us, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, at Mando Talk, so you can continue to communicate with us, get to know us. It's the best part of doing this, honestly. All right, we're going to go ahead and get out of here. We appreciate the support. We appreciate the listen. And as always, we have spoken.